Hello and welcome back to Mr. Caro Plays FM24. Today we're going to look at something different, and this is if you don't want to manage outside the top 5 divisions, i.e. England, France, Germany, Italy, and Spain, and you want to manage a little bit different, what can you do? Now, one of those ideas that floats around many football manager communities is to build a nation kind of save. And then within that, without being an expert, which I am certainly not, you pick a division or pick a country that is not favored necessarily strongly, and you try and improve that nation, that division, the top division, by getting to Europe, etc. You try and build that up until it becomes one of the best leagues and based nations in the world. Now, in order to do that, obviously you need a league to work within. And one league that I would recommend is the Finnish league. And if we pick a team and then we go to the rules, we can see why this would be a good league to manage. And now it's worth pointing out there are several pluses and minuses of managing in any country, any league. Now, for example, Finland has quite a big league with 12 teams, and that may not seem massive, but certainly some of these smaller countries, you can get leagues of maybe 8 teams in, for example. So this is a pretty big league for a smaller nation. Now, if we look over to the right, you can see that they are rated the 41st competition in Europe, which is below the English League One, which obviously is not great, but it is not a bad starting point. If we look at other team divisions around us, and we see obviously top division being the English Premier League, and if we scroll down to where we were in Finland, which is 41, and I'm not suggesting this is the league to go for, but it's a good place to start. We'll look at a few options on this list as we progress. Now you can see that the Finland, like I say, the division above us, or the league above us, was League One. Then you can see Spanish second division, French second division, Kazakhstan Premier Division. So there's a lot to kind of improve if we start in Finland. Now, one of the things that could put you off certain leagues is the rules within that league. Okay, so if we look at the Finnish league, for example, I know having managed in this league myself, there are some squad registration rules or squad match day rules which could put you off managing in this league. And if we look at our match day rules, for example, you can have no more than 3 non-EU players. Now, that's not necessarily a massive thing. However, it is worth considering when you can get divisions or countries where there are no match rules at all. So it is worth considering this because it is definitely a negative if that is the case in certain aspects. Maybe not if you wanted to build a team purely around Finnish players, and there's certainly something to be said with that. When you get into Europe, for example, if you start qualifying for those Champions Leagues, those Europa Leagues, and you try and get those homegrown players, I'm currently managing in Ireland with Bray Wanderers, and I'm finding this exact issue. I don't have a lot of homegrown players, and it's really hampering my ability to kind of rest players and have a big enough squad to be able to make that work. Now, one of the things you can see from looking at this set of rules, if you like, or at least a set of specifications, you can see that if you were to get into the European group, any of these groups, there are no prize money associated. Okay, the reason why this is important is because I'm pretty certain, and maybe someone in the comments can correct me if I'm incorrect, if there are no prize money at the start of the game, that prize money will not increase regardless of how progressive you make that league within the the ranking system. Okay, whereas if you pick a league like the Irish League, for example, and again, I haven't experienced prize money increasing, but I am told this is a thing. Like I say, I haven't experienced myself, and like I say, of any of these videos, it's just an opinion, and in this fact, it's speculation, you could even argue. If we go down to the Irish Premier League, which is going to take me a couple of seconds. But yeah, Irish Premier League. I knew they were roughly around here, because like I say, I am managing them now. I think I've gotten to about 50th, so we are progressing. And if we look at the Irish Premier League, for example, again, there's 10 teams, which is not a bad amount of teams over there. I would prefer a bigger league, if I'm honest, because then with a smaller league, the reason why I personally don't like that is because you end up playing these teams 2 or 3 times, which is good for rivalries, etc. But it can make things a little boring on occasion. So if we go to our rules, again, within this, you can see there are some prize money. And actually, the prize money is pretty good, to be honest, overall. The prize money is not bad at all within this. But the key and important thing, if we go down to our match day rules to compare it, is there basically are none in this. You don't have to have any set EU players. You don't have to have a number of Irish players. So what that means is as you progress, and of course, when you're doing a build a nation save, the thing about that is important is that you're not thinking about the now, you're thinking about the 3 or 4 years down the line. And with this particular country, if you can get it working in the Irish Premier League, then there are no kind of real hurdles in regards to stopping you having the amount of players playing within that. Okay, so say like you had like a good scouting in Brazil and you found lots of young players and you're able to build your team with those players. There's nothing in the Irish Premier League stopping you doing that. And the same with the Netherlands, that also has quite lax rules and such things. And I'm guessing there are probably other countries as well as. Now, if we look at the top there where it says the start date, this is a major hurdle for some of these smaller leagues. The start date of this division, and in Finland as well, it's a summer, or not so much a summer league, more of a wintry league. It starts in February, finishes in November, but it is not great in terms of European football. You're 1 season behind, for example. If you win the league, you're not going to be getting into Europe until the following season, unless you're already in there at the start of the game. And also, the fact is, with countries like this, fitness is a huge issue. When you start getting into that battle, when most of your season is done, but you've still got a lot of European football games left, yeah, it's a free pass at that. However, it does hinder your fitness. A lot of those players have already played 30-game seasons, and then they're being asked to play against some of the best teams in Europe. It is hard. It can be hard for that to work. But however, if you can get it right, my recommendation would be the Irish Premier League. It's a great league to manage in. If you want something a little bit easier, I would highly recommend, and this isn't really, to be honest with you, as much as I would recommend the Netherlands being a league to manage in, not going to be so much of a challenge. I mean, it's fair to say if we manage in a team that's already, in the top, I would imagine, I don't know, I still haven't got up to top. They're a 6th. So maybe the Netherlands isn't so much of a great league to manage in terms of outside of the perspective of wanting to build a nation is already kind of there. However, as an example of a league that has good league structure, good league rules, match day rules, the Netherlands would be a great shout within that as well, okay? As well as the Norwegian league. I think we've got them loaded up in the safe, but can we see the rules? Yeah, so the Norwegian league, again, is a great, look at that prize money, 2.5 million, or 2.1 million, sorry. So that is outside some of the top divisions. However, it is a good league to manage in. So effectively, the point of this video was to kind of open your eyes up to other divisions. Now, I know we picked on the Netherlands and we picked on Norway divisions or countries that perhaps are quite close. I tend to go further back that way, if I'm honest, which is why I mentioned Finland and Ireland. However, it is worth pointing out that it just depends on what sort of challenge you want. You could equally pick out something in between, like the Greek league, for example. That's a very fun league, though, especially if you can get into those top 6 places, because after that league splits into like halfway through the season, if you like, or towards the end of the season, it splits into 2 leagues. You end up playing those 6 teams, and each one of you get into Europe, depending on where you finish, higher European competitions or lower European competitions. But it is a fun save to do, and it's also a decent size league at 14 teams. And I don't know about the prize money in this league, but I don't think it's terrible. There is no prize money, maybe? Is that true? No prize money? No prize money. But either way, point remains the Greek league is good. And being at the 21st league in Europe, it's some middle ground to start at. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Hit that notification for more videos. If you want to buy me a coffee, there is a link in the description. Have a great day. Goodbye.